The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here's Brandon.
Welcome to Oldsby Show. I am Brandon, and riding with me, shotgun. You know, he talks, but he's not a car. Tony Schaab.
It's true. I do talk. I have emotions, and I know how to speak in CB and all sorts of different languages, and I'm a real boy, I promise.
All right. Well, this series of Oldsby Show, of course, follows a talking car and the man who rides, sometimes drives it, Michael Knight, in the first season of Knight Rider. Today, we're here to discuss the 21st and penultimate episode, Nobody Does It Better.
What a classy name for the second to last episode. Oh my. So this episode, when computer software is being stolen from Deltron Micronics, Michael is convinced it's an inside job. He and Kit start tailing the main suspect, Julian Groves, who is also being followed by female detective Flannery Rowe on account of suspected adultery.
All right, this is directed by Harvey S. Laidman. Directed Quantum Leap, Hulk, Seventh Heaven, Jag, Scarecrow, Mrs. King, and I guess competition show Dukes of Hazzard. Written by David Braff and starring David Hasselhoff, Edward Mulhare, Patricia McPherson, William Daniels, Gail Edwards, Tony Dow, Robert Ginty, Angel Tompkins, and Marshall R. Teague, and Laurie O'Brien. So Gail Edwards is our big guest star here. You might know her as Vicky Larson on Full House, who was Aunt Becky's talk show fill-in and Danny's love interest on the show.
Mm-hmm.
She also played Six's mom on Blossom.
It's very 80s. I think that's the most 80s sentence we've said this entire run of Old Space Show.
I'll go even further. So she also was, before Full House, she was on a sitcom show with the guy who played Steve on Full House. He played her son on it. I can't remember what it was called. And it got canceled. And the next year they brought them both over to Full House. So she got pulled over to play Danny's interest, and he got to play DJ's interest. On Full House. So they were carried over.
Was that Step by Step, or am I thinking of a different show?
Step by Step.
Okay,
that was
gotcha.
Suzanne Summers, Patrick. That came after Full House.
Right.
Yeah, it was. Let me. You know what?
I'll say all these 80s sitcoms start to gel in my mind, and weirdly, a surprising amount of things were spun off from each other in the 80s that aren't necessarily like directly connected.
Right.
Like if you watched them today and didn't know about it, you may not even know they were spin-offs. Like Perfect Strangers was a spin-off of like Laverne and Shirley, like not Laverne and Shirley, like it's something weird, right?
Well,
like,
have you ever heard of the Happy Days universe? Like everything comes from Happy Days because of spin-offs, things seen on TV, things like, because it's insane. But yeah, like Happy Days has so many spin-offs. Like Mork and Mindy comes from Happy Days, which is
that's right. So nuts.
So he played on, what is this show called? I'm trying to find it. The Family Man. So it was a one season show called The Family Man, from 1990 to 1991. It was about a widowed fire chief tries to raise his 4 children with help from his father-in-law. Starred Gary Harrison, Ashley Sterling was in it, but that's about. Edward Winters in there, but yeah, she was in 3 episodes of that.
Okay.
And he was Scott Weinger was in all 22 episodes. So just a little show that never went anywhere. Was a 30-minute sitcom.
All right, they tried it.
People said no, but they got better jobs later on. So Yeah, I mean, she's mentioned here because of the other two things. I mean, mainly the Full House one, but I thought the Blossom thing was a nice little. I was like, oh, she was Sixer's mom as well.
That's crazy.
Those of you remember Blossom, whoa, Joey Lawrence, and
Whoa.
which we talked about him on this show when we did Urban Legends Final Cut. So this one, we open up with some stealth spy stuff here. And the score's dangerously close to ripping off the 007 theme. Of course, the title of the episode is a 007 theme, the Carly Simon song from The Spy Who Loved Me. The guy gets caught in this boss guy's office who has an arcade machines everywhere, including Qbert. The snooper was Michael, just testing security operations.
Plot twist.
And he says, like bemoaned, and when a stranger calls, whoever is stealing your software is doing it from the inside.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah,
it's an interesting start to this episode. I give them credit here this far into the season for doing unique things. I don't have any statistics to back this up, but this feels like the opening of this episode feels like the longest stretch of time Knight Rider has ever gone without dialogue. I mean, the snooper Michael, I mean, he wanders around or infiltrates and goes over fences and under and drops out of ceilings. And I mean, this is like a good 3-4 minute scene where there's no, like, if you got stuck doing the dishes in the kitchen when Knight Rider came on, you're like, what's happening? Like, you didn't hear a word at the beginning of this episode. There was nothing, no dialogue going on here.
No, you're right, absolutely. And it's all directing, choreographing, shooting, like it's all cool stuff to get done. Some of the best like action stuff they've done all season, and even though it's not cars crashing and stuff, it's just well put together set piece. Also Bonnie playing Atari on Kit's Dash is a thing, and I realized, I'm like, oh, this is the video games are so hot right now episode.
Yes, that's right. They're like, yes, what's cutting edge? Nothing is more cutting edge than alpine ski and Qbert machines in this guy's office. So he's just like, I just wanted to make video games, and now I'm the owner of a company because I'm a genius. I'm like, oh, boo-hoo. That's right.
So Michael goes to go on the mystery of this, and he's driving in the rain, and I was like, wait, I don't know that we've seen Kit driving in the rain yet. And then there's lots of rain in this episode. I'm just guessing that was a natural addition to the shoot.
I wondered about that. Yeah, because it feels very intentional. So I genuinely do wonder, and I can't find anything that says, oh yeah, they specifically did rain. I don't know if it was designed to let's get some cool shots of Kit splashing through big puddles, and let's get some muddy shots of Kit, or if it was just like, oh god, there's going to be rain in the schedule for 3 weeks where we're shooting, let's just roll with it. I have no idea.
I would assume it's that, because nothing in this episode calls for like it must be raining. So I think but it gives the episode kind of its own identity and character from stuff we watched already. So I was like, all right, this is kind of cool.
You're right. It also makes it very apparent when they reuse scenes from an earlier episode, like I think they used from way back at the beginning from the Topaz connection. They did the shot of Kit jumping over a ravine.
Oh yeah,
as he's tailing the bad guy, and then he's not. He goes off road for, I'm going to assume, no other reason than to reuse this shot of Kit jumping the ravine from the Topaz connection. So
possibly that classic shot from the Topaz connection.
Yes, amen.
So this is a mystery with 4 suspects. Kit decides to do some tracking with, it's this black screen with 2 red outline. I'm like, what is this doing? Like, it's not even got a radar thing. It is just like, okay, what? Those are cars. Got it.
We're kind of all over on the Kit technology thing. Like, I like, my big question is, where did the dot matrix printer go that was installed 6 episodes back? Like, it's just gone. So, well.
So, I mean, we're embroiled in this mystery of like this guy that was like work for the dude, and he's taking tennis lessons from this suspicious woman that maybe he's involved with, and his wife hired a woman who looks like a reporter, but she's a PI because she's got like a camera and stuff she's taking around. And then it winds up, we find that Michael stumbles upon the dead body of the tennis instructor with this PI woman who Michael doesn't feel like this guy's guilty, but she does because she's working for the wife. And Michael's always got to be right. So this is the weirdest thing. They find the dead body, and then Michael takes her out for Mexican food.
Right, as one does.
And she's like, "Oh, it was my first murder is all." I'm like, okay. Like,
Oh, goodness.
I was looking at the table like, they better not have like big bowl of margaritas or something sitting. They did not.
No.
I did dig the dynamic here of Michael in a competing investigation with somebody. That was kind of nifty.
Yeah, it was interesting. I got the feel for a second that maybe the writers thought, like, if it felt like a unique dynamic, maybe they would bring her back for like a guest starring role. I mean, that probably doesn't work very well for Knight Rider because he constantly moves around cities, but
she felt like a good, I mentioned that in my notes too, that I felt like she seemed ripe for a character to bring back. And I looked up, she never comes back to the show, but I was like, yeah, she felt like somebody you could bring back, even more so than like Michael's fiance from the other episode. Like, this was a better chemistry, better dynamic with things. Like, she was a fun character. Like, I was like, you know what, her popping up once a season or something, I could see that, but no, she does not.
No. And she was very like, I feel bad, but like she was written off. I don't know if written off is the right phrase, but very, like, at the end of the episode, very casually, like it's established at the end of the episode that, like, she is on him. She's on the ostensible bad guy, Julian. She is on him because she thinks he's cheating because of this, supposed adultery, and obviously that's not the case. But even at the end of the episode, she gets some throwaway line where she was like, and I thought it was a big, she was like, you guys are really good at finding out this stuff, and here I just thought he was cheating on his wife, and it was just like this womp womp. I'm like, you can at least give the girl some chance to solve a bit of the mystery. Come on.
True. So yeah, this is a cool mystery, but it's also like kind of like treats us like we're dumb at times too. Like,
Yes,
because there's this like calendar scene, and they have to like, oh, like, it's like, here's something, and it like, I'm like, okay, is that? And they're like explaining it to us in 2 seconds after, because there's these fishing trips that tips off where money might be getting tossed or thrown. And Kit displays a calendar or whatever, but there's a guy named Armand that's holding up things. It's not, so we're confirmed it's not Julian, but it's not Armand either. But so Michael's kind of right there, but I love how he was like, my name's Michael Knight. I work for the Foundation for Law and Government.
It's very official. Very official.
That was kind of a funny line. But yeah, when Michael's trying to get this information out of Armand, and she's like, the reporter, Flannery, she's like, just try to hold it together, okay, Armand?
Yes, there was the part when Armand essentially kidnaps Flannery and like is driving away with her, and then Kit starts following them, and he's like, there's no one driving that car, and she's like, oh, Armand's like, you're an idiot, she essentially calls him like, she's like, you're a moron, keep your crap together.
Yes.
And it's a very weird vibe. Yeah, we go through several very quick iterations of, is this the real bad guy? I feel like this is a weird episode. I'm so hot on the tails of last episode, where the writers worked very hard to throw you off on like, who's the real bad guy, smoking gun kind of a vibe here, and we get almost the exact same thing here. So I feel like it comes as no surprise at the end when it's the owner of the company who's the real bad guy. Womp, womp, again,
it was Elliot all along. But in order to do it, they have Bonnie perform like this sting operation though, to pose as a friend of the tennis club instructor to draw this guy out with everything. And it turns into a car chase, which includes a turbo boost from Kit, and he jumps a car, and that's all you can ask for in a Knight Rider episode. And the motive gets again explained to us in an epilogue scene. Apparently Elliot was going to be replaced as president of the company. It started this whole thing with it okay, thanks for yeah, I guess that's why he did it, because you told us
Yep,
this.
that's right.
And haha funny as Devin gets a little portable arcade game from Julian for appreciation.
Of all the things that Dad could be gifted, like I've got to think, even in the 80s, these little handheld, and I say handheld very loosely, like don't think Game Boy, think like an arcade deck,
Yeah,
like at like 1/20th of the size of a regular arcade, like those
Yep.
crappy things you can buy at Walmart now for like $9.88
that are
in the
better
toy
than whatever
aisle.
that are better what they gave Devin in this. But yeah.
Right, which is so funny because Devin spends the whole episode like, I don't understand the appeal. I don't think I'll get it. It would have to be a very sophisticated system to appease me.
Yep.
And then they give him the jankiest little thing. I'm like, even I would throw that away after about 20 minutes of playing it. Like, Devin's not going to be impressed by this.
I don't like pizza and I don't like video games.
Or sloppy joes. And just list all the American things he hates.
He probably doesn't like that hip hop music either. Whatever those kids are doing, I don't like. But yeah, I like this episode quite a bit.
Yeah.
It was fun to get through. Yeah, the mystery is fairly similarly rolled out as the last episode, but I like the spy stuff. I like the chemistry with Michael and Flannery. Just kind of bounced. They use Bonnie good in here with Devin. I like when they can become a part of the episodes more than just a send off and stuff. But
yeah, Bonnie gets to play a little espionage here. And once again, going with last week's theme of Bonnie and Devin getting very comfortable just straight up lying to people to suit their own needs, she gets to go undercover and be like, I've got this, give me, trade me the money and I'll give you the briefcase full of secrets and this, that, and the other. So, I mean, it was very nice to see her in action, kind of in retrospect, very bittersweet knowing that we only have one more episode with Bonnie and she's gone forever. So what are you going to do?
Not forever. She comes back in season 3.
I guess that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
She temporarily gone. So
yeah, she's Dr. Crushered here.
Yes.
in the Knight Rider universe. So but yeah, so this is a pretty fun episode. But yeah, Tony, let's shift gears, look on toward the sunset before we hit the horizon. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can come hang out with me all over the social aspect of the interwebs at Tony Schaab if you want to come chat with me in any sort of fun, regular, chatty kind of way. But if you want to dive into the pop culture side of things, you can swing over to sciencefiction.com, where I am the senior editor, and we spend all the days talking about all the fun things, the movies, the TVs, all the pop culture goodies over at sciencefiction.com.
All right. Hashtag you only kit twice. That's all I got. I like it.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
And I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Brandon4KUHD. Written work on whysoblue.com. There will be more. One more a Knight Rider episode next week here on Old Space Show. So come back around for that. I hope you are continuing to enjoy our I Love LA action commentaries from Out Now with Aaron and Abe that have been dropping here leading up to giving me a break, leading up to the summer of 93 at 30. So yeah, but yeah, come back here for the finale of Old Space Show Knight Rider season 1 next week. I mentioned getting Dr. Crushered, but we got more Star Trek stuff for that episode next week. A little bit, you'll have to see. So from Old Space, Tony,
Brandon and Tony, not so lone crusaders in a dangerous world. The world of Old Space Show.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.